One argument that comes up in the animal rights debate is that grass-fed beef is more ethical than farming crops as fewer animals are killed in the process. They make the case that as animals are killed during crop production, eating grass-fed animals is less harmful. Now, I'm not sure that the people who make this argument actually have the well-being of animals at heart. They tend to be the people that are like, I killed an elk with a bow 13 years ago and it's fed my family ever since. I eat steroids for breakfast. But regardless, it's not a terrible idea at first glance, and it's worth looking into. The argument can be structured like this. Premise 1. If a diet containing grass-fed meat kills fewer animals than diets without grass-fed meat, we ought eat diets containing grass-fed meat. Premise 2. Diets containing grass-fed meat kill fewer animals. Conclusion. We ought eat a diet containing grass-fed meat. Seems pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at it. Now, you might have looked at this first premise and thought, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Connor, isn't this just a bunch of consequentialist gobbledygook? Yeah. Consequentialism is the idea that the rightness or the wrongness of an action is determined by its consequences and not by the action itself. So, for example, in the trolley problem, a consequentialist would say that we ought pull the lever as fewer people would die as a result. The fact that we killed someone is irrelevant. What matters is that more people got to live. This makes a lot of sense, and there are plenty of big-name philosophers that abide by consequentialist ethics. Jeremy Bentham, William Godwin, John Stuart Mill. You can tell these people were smart because someone bothered to paint them. But while consequentialist ideas, and in particular utilitarianism, remain popular today, they're still pretty controversial. For example, if we take a look at the trolley problem again, the consequentialist is essentially saying it's okay to murder someone as long as it saves 5 lives. Consider this though, would we say it's permissible to murder someone, harvest their organs, and then donate them to 5 hospital patients? Suddenly, this idea doesn't quite seem so palatable. This debate has gone on for literally centuries, and I'm not the person that's going to solve it, but it's worth bringing up because the first premise of this argument is making a pretty huge assumption. We could make the case that there is a difference between killing animals accidentally whilst harvesting crops and murdering them on purpose. One is collateral damage, and the other constitutes a rights violation. It's something worth thinking about, but for sake of argument, let's stick on our consequentialist hats for the day and see what the research says. Crop deaths. Every vegan's favorite conversation. This idea doesn't really do much for your average meat eater because the vast majority of crops are grown for animal feed. So a good way to minimize crop deaths is to eat a plant-based diet. Side note, this is also why the plants have feelings argument fails. But what about grass-fed beef? There's no crops fed to animals there, right? Well, grass-fed actually has no legal definition, and it's mostly used as a marketing tactic. The American Grass-Fed Association themselves have said, like other mostly meaningless label terms, grass-fed will become just another feel-good marketing ploy used by major meat packers to dupe consumers into buying mass-produced, grain-fed, feedlot meat. The reality is the majority of products labeled grass-fed still came from animals that were fed grain, which means any potential crop deaths come with them. But let's say we found a farm that really does feed animals 100% grass. Surely that kills fewer animals. Right? In this study, radio collars were fitted to 33 wood mice that lived in a crop field, and they found that, quote, the process of harvesting itself had little direct effect on the mice, but the removal of the cover afforded by the crop greatly increased predation pressure. Only one of the mice were killed by a combine harvester. That's a 97% survival rate. This makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Mammals are very skittish. When I walk into a room, my roommate's cat breaks the sound barrier. It's unlikely a mouse would hear a combine harvester roll towards them and then just chill with a few brewskis waiting for the sweet release of death. And this study on Akodon Azarae, these cute fellas, found that abundance changes were hence the consequence of movement and not of high mortality in crops. Now, keep that in mind while I talk about... Cows need a lot of space, way more than plants, and this will have an impact on the number of wild animals killed. Firstly, if this land was rewilded instead, it would become a carbon sink. Climate change is killing and will continue to kill a great many animals. Even just looking at the ocean, atmospheric CO2 is causing it to acidify at its fastest rate in 300 million years, and the last time this happened there was a mass extinction event. What? Animal agriculture is a leading cause of species extinction, water pollution, and ocean dead zones. There are consequences down the line for wildlife here, and clearing land just to grass-feed animals only exacerbates things. So I'm not really convinced that pasture-raising animals is the solution to our problems here. Surprise, surprise, if you want to limit the harm you cause to animals, just eat plants. That's it for today. See ya.